So I've been practicing all week with a lot of success with the Dada Ultion pick. The feedback on this is different to a lot of other tools that I've used. But as you've probably seen if you've been watching any of my videos, I've been getting locks open with it. I was called out this evening to open a shop door and change the lock, and when I got there, I found that it had this Ultion Plus in the door. It's a 30-30, which means that it only has 5 pin chambers each side as opposed to 6. So I thought, great, okay, well, I can soon pick that. And I got my bag out of the van and discovered that this was sitting on the desk at home. And all that I had were my Lishi Style 2-in-1 picks with me, and of course I had the Ultion WXM 3-star. So I thought, great, okay, well, let's pick the lock with one of these. The first thing you'll notice is when I put that in, it doesn't fully insert. It actually sticks out by a pin chamber, because there's 5 there and obviously there's 6 on the tool. But luckily enough, even though that's actually sticking out, the scale still lines up. What's pin 5 in the lock is actually 6 on this scale, and if you go to 1 on the scale, your picking tip's virtually outside of the lock. There is no pin under 1. So I put this in, and the lock didn't pick very convincingly. Took me quite a while to work it out, because this is actually bent, so the front half of this cylinder has been bent away from the main body, and I'm sure that angle was causing a little bit of problem with the feedback. But also this was giving me what people call set bounce on the pins, when in fact the pins weren't set, so it was a little bit tricky. Anyway, a quick demonstration. So I'm just going to pick up a gentle to medium tension on there, and if I go underneath the key pin number 6, you can see there that when I push on it, it flicks the tip back, so that's not ready to be set. 5 is partially blocking the tip, and normally when you get something that's partially blocking the tip, it's a very deep cut on the key. Sometimes it just means that you just skip over that pin, but you don't actually press it to set it. When I went to 4, you can see there 4 has no bounce to it whatsoever, so that's telling me that needs to be set. So if I apply a bit of pressure on top of pin 4, there's a click on 4, a bit of rotation on this core, which is a good sign. Let's go to 3. You can see there's nothing on 3. Let's go to 2, just a bit of bounce. 2 is not ready to be set. So we go back through the lock. 5 is still blocking the picking tip when it goes past. And 6 now is totally blocking the picking tip, so it won't actually get on top of 6. So I'm going to manually rotate this back until I can get the tip over the top of this pin number 6. And now it's on top of pin 6. There's no bounce whatsoever on that. It's just literally solid. So I'm going to put it on top of there and see if we can set that pin. Okay, come on. There we go. So pin 6 just gave me a click and a little bit more rotation on the core, and it has a little bit of bounce now. 5, 4, and there we go. Look at that. There's an absolutely massive force set on this lock. Now for the really tiny spool pins on this, the driver pins, to go into a full set, it means that they were sitting above the shear line and they've obviously been pushed down to the shear line, and then to clear the shear line and into the open position they need to be pushed down quite some way after that. It means that the pins that I haven't set, so 6, 5 and 4 all appear to be set okay. The pins I haven't set are going to need to be depressed down quite some way. That's the only way that this can possibly go into a full set as deep as this. So 3 is okay. So let's go to 2. Now 2 that was giving me set bounce before is now solid. There's no bounce on that. So clearly the spool pin that needs to be set is in this position 2 on the scale here, the first pin in the lock. If I push down on that, I won't get any counter rotation. That's probably because it's completely wedged in the shear line. And also on these tools, you have to almost manually feed in the counter rotation to get the pin to start moving. So I'm going to manually feed that in. The pick's on top of the pin. It's now moving down. It's going down a long way, but I'm expecting that because that's what happens with spool pins in this lock. Still going down. I'm still manually feeding in that counter rotation, and there we go. We've got a click right at the bottom there. We haven't got the open, but we have actually set that spool pin, and the full set is basically lost. So 2, 3, 4, 5 is really blocking the tip now. So we go over 5, a little rotation on the core then when I went over 5. 2 clicks on 5 there. And 6, 5, 4, and there we go. We got the open. And so the feedback on that was quite logical. On the door though, it wasn't giving me that full set, and I was going backwards and forwards looking for which pin it was that was holding us up, and it was in fact the first pin in the lock. Number 2 on this scale would actually pin 1 in the lock that needed to be pushed down. Of course, it's been picked a few times now. It's had the obligatory GT85 inside there and a little bit of a clean, so that it's starting to pick a lot smoother than what it was on the door. But yeah, there we go. Resorted back to the default tool on the van, and it delivered, and we were able to get the door open and change the lock.